Where am I?
Wow, we did it.
Wow.
Welcome to Bad Boy
Welcome.
Crimes.
It's always exciting to hit that button.
I don't think we've ever said welcome to the podcast ever. At least none of season 2's content have we really properly introduced anything.
No, this could be just any audio that we upload under the title Bad Boy Crimes.
Just private conversations.
Just private conversations.
We're not even the conversations we're uploading aren't even ours.
Yeah. This is all just stolen content.
Yeah. Very meta. Dude, I'm gonna die low.
Yeah, me too.
No, you're not. You have a wife. It was very nice to you.
Yeah, my wife is the best.
I have nobody. Dude, I was
You
making
have me.
That's true, but
I have my wife, so
yeah, so there's a hierarchy there.
Yeah.
But I made a mistake this week of looking through somebody's Instagram, not for those of you in the know, not a certain somebody, just somebody else, who I guess rejected last year, and they're doing fine, and they're happy, and they're dating somebody who is not ugly, and I'm like, what the? Come on, man.
How'd that happen?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I was like, you're pretty boring. But I don't know. I guess it is what it is, right?
Men can be boring too.
Yeah, so I'm like, they're probably just too bored. I had the first thought of wow, how dare this person find somebody and I can't. That was my first thought, which is really immature.
Really bad.
Yeah, it's not great. But then I was like, oh, well, they probably just both suck. And I'm trying to have more of a higher self-esteem, I guess, right? But
yeah,
I'm looking back, I'm like, oh, all the people that I rejected, I think they're all doing fine. They're all dating other people and are happy.
You rejecting them was a very positive impact in their life.
Yeah, they might not have known it at the time, but I led them to better things. Well, maybe. I need to speak lightly on this topic. I just realized. Hello.
Hello, everyone. This is a true crime podcast.
Yeah, this is a true crime podcast. But on the other side of the token, I think the three people I was most invested in last year, they're all still, who all rejected me, they're all still alone. So I don't know what that means, but it was,
it's a little poetic justice.
I guess, I don't know. Or we're all just insane, and normal people who are good are going to find other normal people who are good if a little boring, and then insane people are going to die alone.
That's possible.
Oof. I didn't really even think about that until just now, but that's really
you'll have to have an existential crisis.
Yeah, right on mic, dude. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot to add to this situation. I don't know what dating is like.
Dude, it's because last week I was like, yeah, man, I got tons of potential options, and then I tried asking out one of them, and she was like, yeah, and then in the middle of planning stuff, she just ghosted me, and I'm like, cool. Glad to see that not pan out at all.
Is that about the gold rush? Pan out?
Oh. Huh. I guess that makes sense.
I was associated panning with camera movement.
Yeah. Or something technological and not panning for gold. But maybe that makes more sense because you want, right? You want gold. That's a good thing. Whereas I guess panning with camera stuff is value neutral.
One of my friends ran into one of his friends from high school, and on the subway. I was like, "Hey man, what are you up to?" And his friend was like, "I'm gonna go pan." And my friend was like, "What?" and it turned out to be short for panhandle, and he was homeless.
I guess that's another way to pan out.
Yeah. So I'm very glad that wasn't me in that situation because I would have no idea what to do.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't know what to do in most situations, but
I wasn't gonna say that.
I have very little knowledge on how to act as a human.
Yeah, it's been rough, man. The isolation's been bad for the brain, and like even at work, like I sit by myself, and I just act like an insane person. If anybody really, that's not entirely true, but I get a little goofy sometimes. Probably more goofy than I should as a accountant.
Yeah,
you know,
an accountant. Wink, wink.
Right, wink.
Wink.
With a mullet, which is also. I can tell. I can tell the senior managers fucking hate it, but they can't say anything to me. Well, one of them likes it. She thinks it's. She's like, that's really cool. And I'm like,
is that a satire that she's doing?
No, she. I think genuinely thinks it's cool. But she's like she's a fan of mine in general because I'm like a fun person and not like a boring accountant. But like the more serious people are like they like me, I think, enough, but they definitely probably don't like the hair.
Yeah. I also have a hair problem, but I can't get a haircut, so
just get some clippers from Target and just go.
We don't have Target, you goof.
Oh yeah, get clippers at
they
Walmart.
Went bankrupt. I have clippers. I have cut my hair in the past. It's fine.
Dude, hair, I guess, cutters, barbers, they love mullets.
That's true.
Every time I go get my hair cut, and then when I was briefly like half dating a hair person in January, they're all like, yeah, the mullet's like the most fun thing to do, like hair wise, because there's so many different techniques involved in making one. And I'm like, just cut my hair, man. I don't care. You're welcome for the opportunity to like flex, I guess.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm very bad at getting my hair cut as well.
Do you just like not talk?
I don't talk. I have nothing to say to a 75-year-old Italian man.
Yeah, he probably doesn't want to talk to you either.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I think is fine. If as long as both people mutually don't feel like talking, that's fine.
Sometimes they try and talk to me. I think it's just like out of a sense of obligation, and I'm just like, don't worry about it.
Or they're just bored. Like, I'm sure from their perspective, they talk just because they're like cutting hair. Like, they probably do it so much that it's like pretty rote, you know?
Yeah.
Especially with like most normal haircuts. Like, if I was the kind of guy who was like, I want it short on the sides and long on top, which is like the fucking thing. That's been the thing for like 5 years.
At least.
Yeah. Like, that probably is not very interesting to do or very challenging. So they probably are talking just because they are bored and this is going to kill some time. You know?
Yeah. I don't like talking to them. But I grew up, my next door neighbor and my aunt were both hairdressers. So I got free haircuts my whole childhood.
That's probably bad for your development as a person, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, I've never learned what to say to get a haircut.
Yeah.
When they're like, what do you want? I'm like, honestly, dude,
just like your guess is as good as mine, bro.
Whatever my aunt did when I was 12, banger. But they don't know my aunt or me when I was 12, so I can't say that. So I
that is a problem.
I didn't get like a stranger haircut until I was like 22 years old.
Okay.
Because I no longer had access to
your aunt.
Yeah. So I was just like, just like make it shorter. Just do a thing where it's shorter but it looks nice. And the guy was just like, you're a complete moron, right? Like, he didn't say anything. He was mostly like, okay, but in his head, he was like, "God damn, you're an idiot." I felt like I just like left a cult. I was just like entering society for the first time. I was just like,
I went on a date a few weeks ago with a girl who was in a cult at one point.
that's cool.
Yeah, there was no second date.
I mean, she's probably fine.
I mean, based on what I learned, very well adjusted, all things considered.
Was she just like afraid of Pepsi or something?
No, it was like, I
Like
mean,
you got a Pepsi, and she's like, "That's the devil's blood."
no,
Sugar water? Are you fucking kidding
it was
me?
just like super Christian, super religious kind of a thing. Like she just like lived on a compound. And
You drink water, like the stuff in toilets? Is that?
We
This is my idea of what a cult
uh,
member is. It's all about drinks.
Yeah, what kind of cults?
All the rules are about what you're allowed to drink.
It's all just like
seems to
soft.
be
It's all
nothing.
like soft drinks. It's like you can drink alcohol, but certain kinds of sodas are a no.
Pepsi is sugar water. You can't drink that. Water is out of the toilet. You can't drink that.
You're just
That's
drunk.
what I think a cult is, apparently.
We bonded over not having watched like contemporary TV or movies and stuff when we were growing up, and mine was because I was a weird kid who was raised to watch like TV Land and like 50 shit, and like whose parents did not. They're like, oh, they're not gonna like take me to a Disney movie, and then hers was because she didn't have TV and like wasn't allowed to. So I'm like, who's the weirder one?
That's a topic we've never touched on, is what the television programming we consumed as children.
Yeah.
I went straight from like Barney for way too long. Like I was watching
Dude, I was watching Teletubbies
yeah.
well into 5 or 6. And that's
Oh, yeah,
that's a show for
I was like
babies.
Yeah, that's a show for before you know what English is.
Yeah, dude, Teletubbies ruled. That tubby custard, man, and the pancakes and stuff.
The
It looks
vacuum?
so good. Oh, I love the vacuum. I need the vacuum. That I mean, I guess that's kind of what a Roomba is, but the thing had some heart, you know.
It did. It reminds me of Snuffleupagus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I watched baby shows until I was about 5 or 6, and then I just went straight into King of Queens.
That sucks.
I was watching a lot of TBS. I watched just anything on TBS. So I was watching Yes Dear with Anthony Clark, and no one knows what that show is.
I couldn't tell you.
It's very similar to King of Queens or Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh, Everybody Loves Raymond's a good show.
Yeah. That one I wouldn't watch because I didn't like Italians.
That's racist.
It was a joke, but I didn't watch it. I think I was afraid of Brad Garrett's voice.
He has a very powerful voice. I like the
Robert
Super Bowl
Barone.
commercial, where he was a mob boss, but for sandwiches.
Yeah, that sounds good. I didn't watch it, but
I'd love to see a full TV show about Brad Garrett as a Tony Soprano character. And it's actually it's just goofy the whole time. The Sopranos is also kind of goofy the whole time, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, his cover is that he owns a Jimmy John's.
Yeah.
Kept wanting to say Papa John's, but he's canceled.
I mean, Jimothy John himself is not a great
guy related?
Either. No.
I mean, they might be.
I don't think. Well, no, because Papa John is not his last name. His first name's not Papa.
That's a fair point. That is a fair point. So that was my childhood. I mostly watched King of Queens every day.
Yeah.
And it was above my pay grade as like a 7-year-old. I don't relate to any of those struggles.
I was a big cartoon person well into the teens.
I became a cartoon person after. I had like a cartoon phase where I pirated all the Animaniacs.
That's interesting.
It's a great show.
It is a good show. Yeah. It's an interesting thing to decide to like pirate though.
I feel like I just like missed a little bit of my childhood when I was like, you know what, I've never seen
Animaniacs.
cartoon. Yeah, I've never seen. And you know, that's a Steven Spielberg show.
I did not.
Yeah, he produced Freakazoid, Pinky and the Brain, and Animaniacs.
That's peculiar.
Yeah, just like in between doing Jurassic Park and Schindler's List, he's just like, let's do a cartoon with just like a crazy superhero who kills people. I don't know what Freakazoid does. I never watched it.
Yeah, I also never watched that. Pinky and the Brain is good.
Pinky and the Brain is good. It's my favorite theme song to a TV show.
Really?
No. I mean, maybe.
Survivor's theme is my favorite theme song to a TV show
Of
because there's like
course it
27 different ones. Because after season 27, of course, they stopped. They started recycling old ones.
Of course.
Of course.
Speaking of, we have a new theme song.
We do, which you've probably heard a couple times by now, maybe.
Yeah, this is probably the second one, I think. I hope you like it. It's
good. It's fun.
Thanks, man.
It's a a reimagining of a classic with a new twist. It's fresh but not overbearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that.
Just some
Speaking
housekeeping notes.
Just some housekeeping, in case you didn't notice, in case you skipped the first 20 seconds
blacked
because you're
out
like
for the first 15 seconds of the podcast.
yeah, in case you click play and then your brain shuts off and then you remember later.
Yeah.
Or if you just like skip it because you're like, I've heard this theme song, it's so old and boring. Guess what? New hotness. You know that Men in Black scene, old and busted, new hotness?
I never watched Men in Black because that was part of that came
part
out
of
in
your
the time.
cult upbringing.
Yeah, exactly. If it wasn't in black and white, I wasn't watching it. Although I did watch Star Wars. My dad made me watch Star Wars. I mean, I said made me like I didn't like it, but like Star Wars is cool.
Speaking of the theme of the show,
yeah,
I would like to go into my bad boy, who plays into a previous conversation that I forgot to segue.
Oops.
My bad boy. Well, I didn't really want to so early in the show. We gotta build up the tension of who the bad boy is.
Yeah. Plus, I feel like the fans like just listening to us talk about nothing.
Yeah. I was just waxing nostalgic about
Teletubbies.
about sitcoms that nobody has seen.
Yeah.
I miss Yes Dear. It was a good show. There was this one episode where like this well-to-do family has a house, and then they have a guest house that their in-law, like brother-in-law, lives in, and he sucks. And then the brother-in-law's wife weighs her titties one episode.
What?
She puts her titties on a scale, and they're like 11 pounds each or something. And the well-to-do wife has small titties, and
that's so good.
It's a whole argument. It's a whole episode of ire. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, it's a good show. Anyway, this is about a cult.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh yes, it's all
tying
coming together. We've been doing that. I feel like having some synergy in our conversation, and then also the bad boys. And I think that is the sign of the best true crime podcast in the game, folks.
Yeah, it's all about theming.
Yeah,
Like you're gonna die one day, and the angels that process you into heaven, they're gonna be like filmed.
Like they're fucking caseworkers.
Yeah, they're like film nerds, and like, did you notice the theming? You remember like when you were 7 and your dad got hit by a UPS truck, and Hallelujah by Rufus Wainwright was playing, and then that's the same song that was playing when your dog died when you were 6.
Yeah.
It was like, did you notice? It's just fun little theming that goes on every time you're traumatized. You hear Hallelujah by Rufus Wainwright. And also while you watch Shrek.
All right, so what's your bad boy? This cult.
I'm going a little off the rails here.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's Marcus Wesson, currently in state prison, awaiting a death sentence from 2005. For what, you may ask?
I did.
He was. I said May.
Okay.
And this is also, for the listeners. They may
Right.
be
Yeah.
asking.
I'm not the only person here.
A death sentence in 2005. I mean, that was a wild year. You got to be doing something pretty wild.
Was 2005 a wild year? What happened in 2005?
Fucking Finding Nemo had been out for 2 years.
That was a wild year. 2 years of Finding Nemo memes. Finding Nemo quotes really lasted a lot longer than they would have now.
Yeah,
And it's
just
because
keep
the internet
swimming.
now is bad.
Yeah, the internet is bad. We're never going to get through this. I'm trying to think of what happened in 2005, and honestly, just that year doesn't exist. So, for what, you may ask? He was leading a cult that believed in vampires and incest.
That's called Tumblr.com, baby.
Yeah. So he was a Seventh-day Adventist fanatic, according to his mothers.
Okay.
His one mother. Did I say mothers?
Yeah, you
and
did.
then
I was like, cool.
Yeah,
Very woke.
he has one mother and one father. So his mom said that he's a fanatic for Seventh-day Adventism, and his father was an abusive alcoholic. So I think that had an effect on his brain. And then apparently his favorite childhood pastime in the 50s, I suppose. He was born in 46, so somewhere around the 50s. He was playing preacher. So real theme through his life of being an authority figure that he shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm. I love a nice con man preacher.
Yeah. He met a married woman in the 70s after he was honorably discharged from the military. He met a married woman, and then she got a divorce. She broke it off and then married Marcus. Or they moved in together. And she had 8 kids. Eight kids
Jesus.
already.
Oh no.
Yeah, and then he's like, no problem. I love it. And then he quoted as saying, I'm thrilled, and they need a shepherd.
Oh, I can tell this man has a nice pastoral aura.
This man has a sinister aura. Can you imagine meeting a man, you have 8 kids with another man, and he's just like, your children need a shepherd.
Yeah, I feel like that with some of the sweeties. I'm like, you need a shepherd.
You shouldn't be relating to this man.
Oh.
So she's got 8 kids. He's shepherding them, and then pretty soon they have a son of their own. And then one of the woman's, Rosemary, her name is Rosemary, her eldest daughter had 7 children within the family.
Wait, within the family?
Well, it says, this article says, after his son was born, Rosemary's eldest daughter left 7 more children with the family because she was unable to care for them herself.
Okay.
Left with the family.
Okay.
Because she had a drug habit.
Of course.
Of course.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, in the 70s.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even now, well, I don't. I'm a good boy, but the other evil people in the world do. And I'm too noble for
Yeah,
such things. Anyways.
of course. So Marcus was like, "Look, I'm not your real dad. I know that. I know that I'm your stepdad, but you're not going to call me stepdad. You're
Yeah.
going to call me Lord."
Hell yeah. So far, the only thing this guy is guilty of is being a little weird.
I mean, he is taking care of a lot of children that aren't his. Kind of noble,
Very noble.
but he did take this woman away from her husband. So, and apparently, all the children he got no custody rights. A little weird.
A bit
And then
peculiar.
here's where your statement ages poorly, because now he's about to be a bad boy. So it says one boy was beaten for 30 days because he ate a spoonful of peanut butter without permission, and a teenager was stabbed for trying to leave the house.
That's fair.
I mean, that's when it said that he was abusive. I was like, okay, he's like smacking them. He's not
being a
feeding
little
them properly. Can you imagine as a punishment stabbing your child?
Well, if they did something really bad, maybe.
I think that's a little too extreme.
Yeah, stabbing is a bit much in most
Yeah.
cases. That's a
A
lot of effort.
I would draw the line at spanking. And I don't think that spanking works. I think that it's bad. But if you do that, I'm like, yeah, you know what? You're allowed to hit children and nobody else. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But stabbing them, too much. I wonder if
On
that
bad boy
falls
crimes,
under.
we draw the line at stabbing.
It's too far. It's a bridge too far. And then he would read stories from the Bible 3 times a day to all of these children. How many children is this? 9 plus 7. That's 16 children in his house.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
a
And
lot of
3
kids.
times a day, he would read from the Bible and insert his own twists into the stories.
Well, he's just doing a little improv. What's wrong with that?
Yeah. So these twists include the fact that he is God.
Sick.
Vampires are real.
Okay.
And here's my favorite one. Jesus was one of the vampires.
I mean, I can see it.
Can you?
We can't prove that vampires aren't real.
It's true. We cannot.
So and Jesus, I mean, if he was dead and then is alive again, because of Easter, right?
Yeah.
The rebirth of Jesus Christ. I mean, he's undead, and the vampires are undead. I mean,
Sure. Why not?
So Jesus is also that guy's son. And
Yeah.
Jesus is a vampire,
But he is not.
but
a
he is
vampire.
not. Okay, I'm just trying to make
he's
sure I'm
God.
following every detail here.
But following that theme,
Yeah.
he was very obsessed with vampires, and he started collecting coffins. And then he would give the children vampire names. One of them was Jeva, which is a combination of Jesus and vampire.
I mean, going for something really on the
Jiva?
nose right out of the gate. Okay,
I mean,
he's gonna have to get a lot more creative if he's starting with that.
Know, if you didn't know, then Jiva or Jeva is fine. So you got 16 kids, 2 adults.
I'm gonna make a video game starring a vampire. I'm gonna name him Jeva.
Jeva. I think it's
That's a
kind of
little
good.
reference. It's honestly we're clouding on it a little bit. It's not the worst name.
No, it's like based on the origins of it, it's bad. But if you didn't know the origins, you're like, yeah, that's a name.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, exactly.
Like it's the name that if you went to a school with a kid named Jeva, And then he was like, "Did you know it actually means Jesus vampire?" You'd be like, "Okay, buddy, shut up."
Yeah.
Okay,
Exactly. It'd be
edgelord.
like some dumb kids just trying to
Yeah,
lie their way into clout. Little do we all know, it was
it's all
true.
true. Kids love doing that.
Oh yeah, kids love to lie. Kids are the worst.
We hate children on this podcast.
And also off this podcast.
More
But
so
we
off
don't
this
stab
podcast.
them.
No, I've never stabbed a child. So then, so he gave them vampire names, and then he decided that he was going to marry one of the children that his wife gave birth to before him, and that child
Nice.
was Elizabeth, who was 8 years old.
Not nice.
So he took her out of school and did an at-home marriage ceremony
To an 8-year-old.
to an 8-year-old.
Okay.
His wife. And then once she was 12, he began to assault her sexually with the intention of marrying her legally when she turned 15.
Well, at least he waited.
Did he?
I mean,
He waited.
He didn't do it when she was 8.
He waited a little bit.
Yeah, that's. I mean, this is, and the mom is fine with this.
I suppose.
Is it like a
I mean-
sister? This is very complicated.
Yeah,
He's a bad boy.
he is a
Even
bad
if he
boy.
is God, which we can't disprove. It's our word
I don't know.
against his.
2 against 1.
That is also true.
So then he knocks her up. I don't like that I said knocks her up. I think that was a bad phrase.
Yeah, that's not great.
She became pregnant at the
Okay.
age of 14.
Okay.
And that was her first pregnancy. And she ended up having 11 children with this man.
Oh my God.
That's a lot.
Wait,
That's a lot
when did
to
this
start.
start? If he was arrested
Like,
in 2005.
Well, he met this woman after his military honorable discharge in the early 70s.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, the
this is-
70s. Okay,
yeah.
yeah. Because I'm like, all right. Because I mean, 11.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah,
And then
that's a big
yeah,
house.
he is a very big house.
Full House has got nothing on that. Let me tell you what.
Yeah. Yeah. So he knocked up a lot of the women in the household.
Clearly,
But I think it's a little adulterous on his
he's just
wife
doing a Mormon.
Elizabeth.
He's doing his own take on the Mormon thing,
Yeah.
and that's fine.
Here's an interesting rule, a nice house rule that he had. The girls and the boys cannot sleep in the same bedroom, just in case they got up to something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's fair. Because I mean, the situation, bloodline wise, in that house has got to be complicated.
Yeah.
Like the ancestry.com is going to be like, yeah, we don't know what happened here.
Yeah, if you're in this bloodline, there's like, listen, there's
We'll just refund you. We we can't figure this out.
yeah, and then anyone who was 16 or older in the house,
Yeah.
just had to have a job, and then all the
That's
money
reasonable.
all the money that they made went to him.
Oh well, I mean, but he is the head of the house. So.
He is
And
God.
God. So
He is God. He's trying to take care of an entire house of like, I don't know, 80 people
he's
at this
building
point.
character by having them work. You know, and also true. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of mouths to feed.
Yeah.
Now, is he creating more mouths to feed? Yes. So a
But
bit of
that's
it
his
is on
choice. Yeah. I mean, mixed bag, really.
him. Who's to say?
Yeah. So eventually, two of the the daughters of, it says nieces, so daughters of somebody. They're like, we need to leave. This is a fucked up incest vampire cult, and we do not want to be here. And he's like,
That doesn't sound very reasonable to me.
look, I'm providing for this family. I'm doing everything I can. I'm God. You're a vampire. Go to bed in your coffin and sleep on it.
Yeah.
And then they wake
Wait,
up.
were
and
they?
they're like,
I know he got them coffins. Were they actually sleeping in the coffins?
it doesn't say. I was just remembering that detail myself.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
I'm just gonna bring that back up that he collects coffins.
Because those are not cheap either.
No.
There's this the fiscal. I mean, I think everything else aside, making everybody over 16 work, incredibly reasonable.
Yeah, that the part
All
that
things
was,
considered, that I'm like, that's fair.
that part is fine. All the money going to him was the main part that I disagreed with. So he's like, look, you can leave, but they both had a son, and he's like, you got to leave your two sons. They get to stay here, but you can leave.
Why doesn't he banish the boys? I feel like he's not really about the boys.
Well, he's a shepherd.
I mean, true, but
Shepherd doesn't care what kind of sheep he has.
it sounds like he's trying to fuck the sheep.
I mean, a little bit, all right?
Yeah, it's like I feel like that's the goal here. Is just like it's a harem anime gone horribly wrong.
Yeah. That might raise some red flags to banish the boys. And also, they're good workhorses.
True. Yeah, he does need the money.
Yeah. So he's like, give me your two sons, and then you can leave.
Okay.
So they're like, sure. Like, I hate
Fine.
I hate this child anyway, probably.
Yeah.
It doesn't say how they felt about the children, but they left them in a cult, so.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I'm gonna just get out while the getting's good.
Yeah, so they left, and they're trying to adjust to the real world,
Right.
and they can't do it. They can't handle it. So they go back in 2004. They go back for their sons.
Redemption.
Here's just an interesting detail that they throw in. These two women, they're contacting family outside of the cult to figure out like what's going on in all the time that we've left. And this man is renting a commercial office for this cult to live in.
Mm-hmm.
He's just renting office space.
I mean, you gotta live somewhere.
Yeah,
I thought about that too. Like,
there's no house that you can afford that has like 17 bedrooms.
I mean, do you think, not to go wildly off topic, but like with a lot of companies like working from home is probably going to be like how like places are not going to go back to working in offices if they, at this point, if they've already decided like
Work
we're
from
done.
home isn't a thing.
Yeah. Because like I know that I live by like an Apple campus. I shouldn't, whatever, I don't care. And like I think they're just giving up that entire campus. They're like, yeah, everybody's just gonna work from home. Like we don't need to do this. And so I'm like, are they gonna like how much would it cost to just be like, I want part of their office for myself? Because who's gonna buy it? Is it just gonna turn into like residential stuff? Like a weird apartment complex? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it'll be a hotel. Who knows?
Just something to think about.
Think about it.
Yeah. Listeners, if you have an idea of what's going to happen to abandoned office buildings, reach out to us on Twitter. Bad Boy Crimes Pod on Twitter. Also, leave us some reviews on iTunes. Thank you.
Very cool to just throw that in the middle.
I thought, it was a good segue moment.
Sure. So back to this vampire incest cult.
Yeah, of course.
So they go back for their sons in 2004, and good old Marcus, Mr. Marcus Wesson, he's just like, look, this is, you left. It's a little rude. I'm not a big fan. I'm God, and you betrayed my light, and all this. And then
Yeah.
the women in the cult are just like losing their fucking mind. And they're like, you are fucking traitors. You left us. You don't understand what God is. You don't believe in the light. And they're just like going off, sis.
Dude, this guy
So
really learned. He really weaponized
love.
gatekeeping and gaslighting and girl bossing.
Yeah. So there's like this huge fight going on where the women are just losing their fucking minds at these
What else
traitors.
is new? Am I right, fellas?
Exactly.
Who got 'em?
Somebody calls the police and they're like, "There's some like crazy bullshit going on."
Yeah.
And so these two traitors,
Officer, there's like a cult going on.
there's women.
There's just
like,
women yelling. They're being hysterical. Can you make it stop?
They're all just conglomerating in one area. I think that's just not good. Something not good is about to happen. So the cops come, and the two traitors are talking to the police, and they're like, "Look, this man is hurting the children. I know this is a cult. He's hurting the children." And they said that there was a suicide pact that was regularly discussed within the cult.
Oh.
If anyone in law enforcement showed up, the women were to kill the children and themselves.
A good failsafe. And then God will just be like, I didn't have anything to do with this.
Yeah. These are just people who live in my office building. I didn't know them.
Yeah. They're just my tenants,
Yeah. Landlording truly his biggest crime.
This is a communist podcast.
Yeah, so the cops were like, well, this is bad. Like, we are law enforcement, and we don't want them to kill the children and themselves. So they talk to God, and they're like, look, you got to let the kids go. The adults, that's consent laws, but like, you got to let the kids go. They got to go.
Damn kids go. Yeah.
And he's like, all right. I'll let all the children go. Anyone under 18 can leave, but let me just like say goodbye. And they're like, okay, that's reasonable. This is your family. You have to say goodbye. And then he locks the door, and then there's an hour and a half where he does not come back out. And then he finally comes out, and his clothes are just drenched in blood.
Well, I mean, he had a lot of kids to say goodbye to.
Yeah. And then he was drenched in blood. And then
And that's completely coincidental.
Yeah, he's a butcher. That's hog's blood.
Yeah.
So the neighbors are like, there are a lot of gunshots. And the cops were like, I didn't hear anything. I don't know anything
Why
about
would
it. He was just
God
saying
use
goodbye.
a gun?
Yeah,
Also, they're all vampires, so,
it's true. He was just drinking the blood.
Yeah. He was a little overzealous, and that happens to everybody.
Yeah. So he comes out drenched in blood, and they're like, okay, we got to arrest this man. And inside, they storm the building. Inside is a literal bloody pile of human bodies. 9 people were dead.
When you say people, how many of them are children?
The victims ranged from age 25 to just 1 year old. Each person had been shot in the eye.
Specifically the eye?
Specifically the eye.
Well, that explains the blood, then, doesn't it?
It does.
I was really wondering when that was going to...
when that would come out.
Yeah.
And then he goes to trial after he's arrested, and he pleads not guilty. Which,
well, I mean, don't give the prosecution... don't plead guilty to anything. Don't talk to the cops. Always ask for a lawyer.
Yeah.
If I learned anything from watching Criminal Psychology, is don't talk to them.
Yeah. I mean, this true crime podcast has got to be teaching us something, because he did what you suggested. The pact was the mother of the children kills them all and then herself. So he was not involved.
He just was like, I'm gonna watch you do it, but I didn't actually
Yeah.
do anything.
And then there are still people that were not dead, and they're just like, look, he's still God. He didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
They're what's that thing? Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
Um, and then the jury was just like, no, you're guilty. That's we don't buy any of this garbage.
They're like,
You're
yeah,
also-
it's pretty cut and dry.
yeah, it's like pretty clearly you raped a lot of children, had more children, and then they were all murdered in your house in front of you.
Yeah.
So he's still waiting execution.
What about, or did any of the adult women, like the I guess brainwashed cultists, like, did any of them also get arrested?
It did not say, but I don't think so. Because that's just like
I don't know. I feel like
the only crime was loving God.
That is true. Never mind. And God is good.
Yeah. Praise the Lord.
Praise be. Well, that was a bummer.
It was a bit of a bummer.
Yeah.
But just to lighten the mood a little bit, just remember he had caskets on deck for them. So
Yeah.
it wasn't, he wasn't hit with an exorbitant funeral cost because he had already built in he pre-planned it.
He was a few steps ahead. Everyone was playing.
You don't want to
checkers,
deal
he
with the
was playing
loss of
chess.
9 family members and have to buy 9 caskets all at once.
Yeah, you buy them over time incrementally, and then you're prepared for anything.
Yeah.
Speaking of landlords, earlier, how they're criminals.
Yeah.
So this ongoing story arc for me, where I'm still not in my apartment.
Yeah.
I earlier this week I went into the leasing office and I was like, hey, what the fuck? And they're all sitting around not wearing their masks, and they're looking around sheepishly and putting them on, and they're like, who are you? Where do you live? And I explained, the apartment and stuff. And I was like, yeah, it's been a month and the carpets haven't been replaced yet. Do you know what's going on? And then the lady was like, I'll look into it and I'll get back with you. And she's like, also the door is supposed to be locked, so you're not supposed to be in here right now. And I was like, well, it wasn't locked and you didn't have a sign, so
yeah.
I don't know what
I don't know what you want from me.
yeah. And needless to say, they did not get back with me. So just a little update for all the folks at home who were curious about if I am still displaced. I am.
Well, that's what you get for supporting landlords.
That's what you. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I should buy a house.
You should buy a house.
I think I could probably if I'd have to move out of the city, but
yeah, I mean, you could buy a house with all our Patreon money. That's
all that sweet Patreon money, all my Twitch money.
Oh yeah.
My YouTube money. My
YouTube
GameStop,
money.
my GameStop YouTube money from Epic Meal Time.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, that sucks. that was such a fun channel in 2011.
Let's just check up on him. What are they
Probably
up to?
he's not doing well, I imagine. Harley, right?
Harley.
I think that's his
They
name.
have 7 million subscribers. Uploaded a video 3 days ago.
Okay. Are they still doing the same?
Entire McDonald's menu and a burrito, if that gives you any idea.
Are they getting views? No.
72,000 views on that one 3 days ago.
I'm seeing, 70, yeah.
Yeah, Epic Mealtime got very fat. Shocking. That got 152,000. Who would have guessed? Good old Harley.
Yeah.
I thought he was very funny in 2007.
200 McDonald's burger burrito. That came out 2 years ago. That got 3 million views.
Yeah, they do okay. I've never had a video get 50,000 views.
The most I've gotten is 10 or 11, maybe 12 at this point. I don't know. Let me check.
12,000?
Yeah, not on the Pokemon channel.
Okay.
It was.
I was going to
It
say
has
like
11,000 views.
Oh, well, look at you.
Yeah, I don't know why that one took off, but it did somehow.
Well, it's about to take off more. Tell everybody what it is.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
don't.
actually, I'm not going to. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. It was just a video game thing.
Fair enough.
Speaking of video games, so want to hear something deranged?
I would love to hear something deranged.
Okay, so in Final Fantasy 14, I'm in the second expansion now, and
Yeah, you did it.
And it's
been a journey.
I've been playing this game for like 2 months at this point. Like, that's the only thing I've been playing, and I'm still not even caught up. And the main bad guy, listen to this. He's not from the Far East, but he sure loves the Far East. He collects swords.
Okay.
He hates his job. He resents his family. He's bored constantly and exhibits a lot of depressive symptoms. And the only time he feels alive is when he feels seriously endangered by a female character because I trans my character into a lady who now happens to look like maybe somebody from my past, and that was just completely coincidental.
Is this Francis York Morgan?
No, it's not Francis York Morgan. No, he's not in Final Fantasy 14. Although I also am, in addition to the bad guy of the Stormblood expansion of Final Fantasy 14, I am also Francis York Morgan as well, along with many other fictional characters.
You can call him York. Everybody else does.
Yeah. I've been meaning to bust it out for the Among Us group at one point. And just say I have a deadly premonition about something and like just be weird. It only would work if like the people who don't like me are playing.
Yeah.
Because the ones who do like me will just be like, "Oh, he's just being silly." I'm like, "Well, this isn't for you."
Yeah.
I need to make somebody mad.
This is exclusively to upset people.
This is exclusively to upset 2 people in particular.
Who listen? Hello.
They don't.
Come on the show. Defend yourself.
I mean, if they did, sure, yeah, come on the show, defend yourself, but they don't. I don't think anybody in that group does,
No,
which is good. Although it's not as bad now. Since we deleted the first season, which also housekeeping item, we deleted the first season. So if you have it saved to your phone or something, yeah, you could sell it for more money.
Mint it as an NFT.
Don't do that. That's copyrighted material. We should like convert the sound, like each like second of sound into like some sort of image, and then mint those as NFTs.
Sure.
And then we could be printing them constantly, right? Or just like waveforms.
Yeah.
Just
the waveform of a bad podcast. I'm
Yeah.
sure it would do well.
Yeah, I mean, we would never run out.
Yeah.
That's actually not the worst idea.
It's a bad idea.
It's a really fucking. I mean, NFTs are stupid. What the fuck was I going to talk about?
Francis York. Oh, you're talking about how you are the character in Final Fantasy.
It was chilling. I was like, oh no, this is me. Only instead of war, it's with girls.
Which is, it's a war.
It really. I mean, it was some good self-reflection for me to go, oh, do I actually like any of these people, or am I just like bored and like the thrill of the inevitable betrayal. And I'm starting to think that might be it, you know, which isn't
That
healthy,
might
but
be it.
the self-awareness is good.
Self-awareness is step one.
Yeah. So now I need to, not do that. But I probably, if given the opportunity, I will. If you're listening, shoot me a text. Whoo boy. Okay.
You did it.
I did it. All right. She's not. She doesn't follow me on Twitter anymore. So my bad boy is not quite as dark
That's good.
as you.
We need an up note.
Well, I mean, it's not exactly positive. So my bad boy is Reddit.
Oh boy.
Do you know where I'm going with this?
I have a feeling I know.
Yeah.
Ellen Powell, am I right, folks?
What?
That's who everyone was upset about like 4 years ago. Reddit hired Ellen Powell as CEO, and she did a communism or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, well, this is also about Reddit hiring somebody.
Yeah, that was the
joke.
bit that I was doing.
A callback to the past. If you're a Reddit fan from a million years ago.
Yeah.
So there's a Amy Knight. She has a maiden name that I'm not going to try and pronounce because it's like French or something. I don't know. I'm Chalinor.
Yeah,
but I feel like I'm not pronouncing that right.
She doesn't deserve it.
No, not at all. And Reddit hired her, and everyone was real mad about it. And they a lot of subreddits made their subreddits private for a couple days in protest. I guess I don't really know how that would really protest anything other than just be annoying.
Like Reddit's not getting ad money on those subreddits.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they have ads.
I don't even notice the ads truly, but
yeah.
Sure. So they're doing that, and then she was fired the next day. And people, if you were wondering why this was a big deal, this Amy character is a British transgender activist. That's not why people were protesting. This is just people being transphobic. Although I'm sure it could be framed as that.
That's what she was saying when she was like trying to be in some form of government.
Oh yeah, no, she's like a political
she's trying to be like
person.
A House representative or something.
Yeah, she's
they were like, no, you suck. And then she's like, you're transphobic.
She was electoral candidate for the Green Party in like, I guess from according to Wikipedia from 2016 and 2020. And in 2018, her father, who is her election agent, I don't know exactly what that means. I guess like election helper person. Also,
like a film
frame
agent.
of reference. This person's only 23, so very politically active at a very young age. So I guess when she was 21, Jesus. Ugh.
Imagine being 21. How embarrassing that would be.
How it's so embarrassing. But her father was convicted and jailed for raping and torturing a 10-year-old. And this happened in the same house that they all lived in together. So, that's, and Amy was like, yeah, I don't know anything about this. And then the Green Party was like, we don't believe you, so you're not going to be in the party anymore. Oh, she has autism. That's what a shocker. Anyways, sorry, I'm just reading the Wikipedia page. And then I guess she was like, well, if I can't do the Green Party, I'll do the Liberal Democrat Party. And then she got kicked out of that because her partner or husband or whatever, Nathaniel Knight, was tweeting a bunch of pedophile-y things.
Not into that.
No. And then Reddit hired her for some reason. Like a person very publicly just adjacent to a lot of pedophilia, which is pretty jacked up.
Yeah.
So Reddit's the bad boy here.
Yeah, Reddit is like known for doing a lot of pedophilia adjacent stuff. I feel
like a lot of online stuff is been like that. Didn't somebody get canceled? Like one of the Game Grumps recently get in trouble for like maybe grooming somebody, sort of.
Yeah.
I don't know because I don't idolize like online content creaters.
Yeah, I don't know anything about
especially ones who are gamers. It's like, especially with the gamer stuff, I know like we're kind of pivoting, but like I feel, because like I know there was a problem with like in the Smash Bros community where like a lot of them were doing some heinous things, and it's like all these guys are just like losers who rapidly gained like a following and power as far as like social clout is concerned, right? So like of course they're just going to be unable to make good decisions.
Yeah. Unlike me, who only makes good decisions.
I only make good decisions, despite what
my decisions might tell you.
Yeah, despite what everything I've said on this podcast might lead you to believe. I'm very smart. Also, there was that shooting in Boulder, Colorado.
I mean, there's been
one shooting a week since like things are opening back up, which they even shouldn't even be open. People are just like, I'm done with the pandemic now.
Well, like, yeah, as the vaccines are coming out, people are just like, yeah, you don't need to social distance anymore, which is not really true. And then, like, once people aren't social distancing, it's a lot easier to shoot them in a mass area.
Yeah.
So, as I said previously, social distancing works better than gun control. If you just don't stand close enough to people, they can't do a mass shooting as easily.
Yeah. It's way too. Because if everybody's in a crowd, you don't have to do a whole lot. You just got to kind of wiggle the gun around, and there you go. Yeah. But if everybody's 6 feet apart, you got to aim.
Yeah, you got.
And these guys are not expert marksmen, you know.
No, they're not thinking of that.
Yeah. Did this guy just have a? Yeah, this guy just had a couple pistols, apparently. I mean, one of them was an automatic pistol, but it's really interesting, though, that they had originally pegged the gunman as a middle-aged white male with dark hair and a beard, but the name of the guy that they allegedly think did it is Ahmad al-Ali al-Isa.
Yeah.
Very... yeah.
So when they first
he's only 21.
When they first announced, they're like, "Look, white men are the problem," and then that came out, and they're like, "Look, don't give the shooter any notoriety. Don't say their name."
Yeah,
they want to be famous, but that only came out once they found out it was not a white person. So, way to go!
I only found out it wasn't a white person. Because I thought it was too, because they're initially like, yeah, it's just a white guy who did this, and I was like, okay. And then when I was looking up the Wikipedia article, I was like, oh, this is rough.
This is a different person.
This is a bad PR for some folks.
Well, like, I don't think that all the legitimate white people shootings have been bad PR for white people.
No, I mean,
in the grand scheme of things, no, yeah. In the grand scheme of things, people don't see it as that.
Yeah, because white men are unfortunately bulletproof when it comes to committing mass shootings.
White men all speak for themselves individually, and then anybody who's not a white man speaks for their entire group.
Right. Because we are unfortunately the default.
Yeah. We should just start calling it default. Like, I want the census instead of white. I just want it to say default.
That's probably pretty racist.
That's not a thing that I truly believe. But
Yeah. And I'm not saying like white people are, you know what I mean. Like we're treated as a default when it comes to
yeah, we're pointing the finger at society, not
yeah.
ourselves.
We're not racist.
Yeah. I
But
think
it's
white people
also
are
it's
bad.
also annoying though that like the media can't say it was a white person and be like, oh, actually it was not a white person anymore. You know, like they're just
Yeah.
gonna not talk about it at all because like that's going to,
Yeah.
not that it should matter, but also like if the narrative, like because the week before there's the narrative of like the unhinged white guy who, and
Yeah.
this isn't a narrative that's like for mainstream media as much as it is for like hot take Twitter, you know. We should be able to just say what happened
Yeah.
and like have it not be like a political thing, because it's like you should be able to be like, a white guy did this thing and he's just like, everyone should just be representative of themselves and not their group is what I'm trying to say in a really
Yeah.
roundabout way.
It's a thing that I said.
Yeah, you said it very succinctly and I was just like, let me rephrase this in a way that no one's going to understand.
And then pull it back around and just quote you verbatim.
Yeah. Yeah, you get it.
Thank you. I mean, maybe we have slow listeners.
Yeah.
People don't listen to me because I'm disgruntled.
And people don't listen to me because they don't like me. Which is
nobody
fine.
listens to our podcast.
Yeah. The however many, and we're not going to say how many people listen.
What would you
don't
think?
listen. Yeah.
Um,
And then
right.
how about that boat getting stuck?
Oh yeah, the good old boat. What a dumb idea.
A boat? A boat's a tough idea.
To get it
like,
stuck. I don't know. I don't know what I was trying to reference.
I just think it's funny. Like the Suez Canal's been around since like 18. It was finished being constructed in 1869, and it took that long for a boat to get stuck.
Well,
Because presumably this hasn't happened before.
Yeah, what I've seen is that it's a man-made canal,
Yeah.
as you just said, and boats have specifically been like cargo ships have been specifically designed with the size of that canal in mind.
Because it's super important for trade.
Yeah, it's like 10% of global trade stopped because of that boat.
Now everybody's going around the Cape of Good Hope like it was a million
It's
years
like
ago.
an extra week of travel time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so nobody's gonna get like cars or toilet paper or stuff. So
Yeah, if
That's
your
cool.
products come from China,
bad news.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then like I saw the picture of like one excavator, just like designed to make a hot tub, like an in-ground hot tub in your backyard.
Yeah.
It was like trying to dig it out. Like that's not.
Oh yeah,
work.
that one tiny. Yeah, it's like, buddy. They just like get some dynamite charges and like just blow up the ground.
Just sink the boat.
No. But like you can blow up the rock a little bit.
Yeah,
And then-
you could do a lot of things. Maybe not. I'm
Yeah.
sure there are much smarter people than us working on it.
Yeah, I'm not exactly.
I'm not a boat physicist.
Well, I was reading some live updates or something. Let me refresh this page. Updated 24 minutes ago. I think they're saying that they might be closer to getting it out.
Friggin' boat people, am I right? Should use the Panama Canal like an adult.
It'd be really funny. It's like after they unclog it, somebody was like, "What if I got my boat stuck too?"
And that boat went viral, dude. We gotta get some clout.
Well, it's a great thing because it's like it is a bad thing that's happened, but like no one's really hurt by it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, a boat got stuck and like 10% of trades fucked.
If they painted a message on the side of the boat and they did it intentionally, that would have been the best. Like if Burger King did that and
It was a Burger King boat that said
It's a
women
bird.
belong in the Suez Canal.
Oof.
Well, guys, it's because there's not a lot of women captains
Yeah,
of cargo ships, and we're raising
probably true.
awareness.
Probably true.
I mean, honestly, yeah, we should. We should have more women captains. That's my opinion.
I'd like to update that story a little bit with some information I was given. I believe Burger King did 2 scholarships for like $2,000, and they spent like $40,000 on that ad campaign.
I think they did more than that, but it was still
It was,
disproportionately less than the ad campaign. But
yeah,
for me, it's like the whole thing's an ad campaign. Like
yeah.
they don't actually like
The whole thing is just
recognizing it at all is just playing into their hand. Like, I don't know.
it's just to sell burgers, but they don't talk like it's sort of like how Amazon, all their ads are just like, hey, we're not an evil dystopian company.
Well, I feel like that's entirely different. It's like,
It's like it's not related. It's not saying why their products are good. It's just like, hey, we're a company that does other things that are good.
well, and that's what I don't understand. And like, maybe I'm not the target audience for those sorts of advertisements. But like, there's a big trend, I think, in general, where it's like advertisers want you to like feel morally good about choosing a particular brand to like purchase from. And
I
I'm
think
like, all I care about is like,
is it good?
what product do you have? Is it
Yeah.
good? How much is it? Like, that's all an ad needs for me. If like McDonald's is like, we have this new burger and this is what's in it and it costs this much, I would be like, cool, I will go and try it. I don't need McDonald's to be like,
that's what advertising was in like the 70s or whatever.
but like, that's all. Like, maybe I'm either Galaxy brained or like peanut
an
brained.
idiot. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm like, I don't need them to like make me feel like, I just want to know what the thing is and like tell me
A lot
about
of advertising is just like name recognition, and even though everybody knows what Burger King is,
Yeah.
it's just like putting it into your brain.
Well, like
on a
Burger
more
King also has
consistent
to
basis.
like, they have like an uphill battle as far as like,
Because their food is garbage.
I don't
If
see.
they just made better food,
I think
they would be doing better.
I don't think their food's that bad.
It's definitely the worst fast food that I've had. Just period in my life.
I think as far as like a standard, like if you were to get a standard burger from like each of the main places, I would say Burger King's is the worst. But I would say that they have more interesting, like, not fancy ones, but like
I like the chicken fries. Well, I liked them
back in
10
the
years
day.
ago.
Yeah, they're still good.
Yeah, I assume they haven't changed, but maybe I have.
True.
Yeah. But like that was it. I would go to Burger King as a bit in high school, and I would get chicken fries. But like I've tried all their other stuff, not all their other stuff, but I've tried other things, and I'm like, this is all the worst fast food.
I mean, they've also pivoted into just being like very, very cheap.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, because you can get a lot of good value stuff, and they have a lot of good coupons. And so, as far as like getting your money's worth, I think Burger King's pretty solid. And I think some of their like I really like their Stacker back in the day, and they have like a Stacker King now, which I don't like how big those burgers are. They're huge, but
You know, who has a marketing campaign that I respect?
who?
Sprite.
Yeah, like when Drake was the robot.
Yeah, Sprite has consistently been marketed towards black people for like 30 years.
No,
and
I
it
had a
works.
Coke marketing person come to my school, and they're explaining how different things were branded, and they're like, yeah, Sprite's marketed towards black people. And I was like,
Yeah.
it blew my mind. I was like, really? And then I was like, then you like look back and you're like, oh yeah.
Absolutely. Very clearly, everything is marketed towards black people, but it works.
Also, it's funny that like Diet Coke is marketed towards women, but Coke Zero is marketed towards men. And they're like different products, because they like Coke Zero is supposed to taste like regular Coke without any calories, whereas Diet Coke's supposed to taste like a different thing, right?
I guess I don't know.
Those
I
are
think
like
Coke Zero is the best soft drink on the market.
I would rather drink a Diet Coke because Coke Zero tastes like bad Coke, and whereas Diet Coke tastes like a different thing.
Diet Coke just tastes like aspartame.
Sure.
I hate it.
Okay.
I like Diet Dr. Pepper.
You hate or like it?
I like it.
Okay. I mean, it's fine. I don't really.
I think it's runner-up for 0-calorie beverage. Well, water's number one, and then Coke Zero, and then probably Diet Dr. Pepper. This is good stuff,
Yeah,
folks.
I mean, nothing beats Crystal Pepsi, though.
What about Pepsi Blue?
I haven't had Pepsi Blue.
You've never had Pepsi Blue?
No.
Lucky.
Isn't that coming out again? Aren't they re-releasing that or something?
They might be. I remember when it came out, I loved it. I remember specifically vomiting blue a couple times as a child. But
we love that blue drink in general.
Yeah, blue drink is good.
Yeah.
I liked it, and then they discontinued it, and I was like, that was my favorite drink. I loved it. And then it turns out like the blue dye that they use is a carcinogen.
Sick.
So like, yeah, we can't use this anymore. They figured it out.
That's cute.
And then also they did that war in the Philippines with grenades. Just,
Yeah.
A little throwback to a month and a half ago or something. Go listen to the Pepsi episode.
That was a good episode. It was a fun story.
It's my favorite crime we've probably done.
I need to find more just weird shit like that because that was fun.
Yeah, the Pepsi one and Lorena Bobbitt. I don't know if that episode is still out, but if you listen to the Lorena Bobbitt episode, that's a good.
Or just look up Lorena Bobbitt.
Yeah, just read the Wikipedia page. You'll get
it's
word
roughly
for
the same experience.
Yeah, good times.
Yeah.
Listen to this podcast more, folks. Go through the non-existent back catalog at this point.
Hey, we've been going up. The numbers are improving. So, not that you guys care, but we're moving our way up. In the world.
You want to feel like you got in at the ground floor, we're now on step 1.
Yeah. Yeah, so
we have left the ground floor.
It's time to invest now.
Where are we going now?
When we sell some NFTs of waveforms of this podcast, you can buy those and then you'll be able to sell them for big money in the future. That I can promise you. And it's not a grift.
If you get the NFT of the original theme song, we're only going to make one.
Yeah.
You can do audio NFTs, I believe.
I still think we should just do the waveforms. Because that'd be way easier. Just put weird filters and shit on them.
Yeah. We'll do the waveform, but we'll flip it so it looks normal, but it's reversed.
Yeah.
So if you try and figure out what it is, you're going to get it backwards.
So a little secret tip for when we do this. If you listen to this, you'll be like, if I play this backwards, then it'll be forwards.
Yeah.
Do you got anything? Because I think we're done. You got anything?
We're done.
To talk about?
We've done overtime. Do I have anything to plug? No.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have some card videos come out, but who knows when? Because I don't have my editing computer because I'm not at my apartment. And I got stuff to record other videos too, but again, who knows when any of that will come out? So
I'm gonna release an album in August, probably.
Nice.
Gonna start marketing that now before
build up the hype.
Yeah.
Way in advance.
Look out for it. It's gonna have a title in all caps. Mm-hmm. Pretty enticing.
Ooh.
Right?
A little sneak peek.
And if it doesn't, then I forgot that I said this.
I'll make sure that it does.
All right.
No,
cool.
I won't. All right. Yeah. Follow the Twitter. Bad Boy Crimes Pod on Twitter.com. And
And then
leave reviews on iTunes or whatever.
Yeah.
Add us on stuff.
Yeah, do something, and then
Tell your friends about the podcast because it's a little less incriminating to listen to this now.
A little bit. And then just to completely counter that, I'm going to end this episode by playing the Riley Reid rap song.
No.
So that's going to play right now. Goodbye.